I wrote, what? Oh, bloody Nora. Hi and welcome to episode 3 of Unpublished Eats, where I take food from the pages that haven't yet seen the light of day and make them in my kitchen. For today we're going for a Seldang Sous Vide with Jerusalem artichokes and a béarnaise sauce from Captain Verity Michon, from again first novel Empty Dark. Now, when I wrote most of these I was thinking, yep, it's a Star Trek style magic box, no one's ever having to cook them, so I had to put a bit more thought into this than I've done previous weeks. Seldang, in case you don't know, is a Malaysian word for gaur, or water buffalo, known for its irascible temper and a remarkably tough hide. So in order to get the best out of this meat, we're going to do a bit of sous vide cooking. I'll show you a few ways to sous vide that aren't going to break the bank, and to do the béarnaise sauce I'm going to show you how to make your own butter in order to run with that. So, let's make some food.
I'd indulged myself. Seldang sous vide with Jerusalem artichokes and béarnaise. Seconds later, the cube was disgorged, and the smell filled the small room, lending opulence to the humble plaswood veneer and white clean slabs.
What is that? Smells like nothing I've ever tried.
Seldang, slow cooked. I put thousands of ingredient templates in there and hundreds of cooking methods from everywhere I could get my hands on. You could eat new every day and never have the same thing twice. Here. The look on Nathan's face was worth his fingers in my dinner.
Wooden gods, Captain. So, what else can it do?
Okay, let's start off with making our butter. You need to grab some whipping cream or some extra thick cream and just basically add some turmeric and stir the thing furiously until you've got a nice yellow consistency. Give that about 24 hours or so to infuse and then pop it into a decent sized jar, at least 3 times the volume of the cream you're going to turn into butter. We'll need to hear the audio for this bit though. Terrible music aside, you hear the kind of rattling clunk going on with that. And by contrast, you get that rather delicious sloshing. Don't worry, it's not gone wrong, that is the sound of buttermilk forming. So once you're nice and sloshy, cover your bowl with a cheesecloth and then pour the contents of your jar inside. It should take a little bit of effort to actually lever it all out, but once you're there, grab the corners of the cheesecloth and squeeze that butter for all you're worth. As you can see, that should give you a virulently yellow turmeric butter, which is not an awful lot of fun to say on an audio track, and then the buttermilk, similarly yellow. As you can see, I'm adding a little bit of stock into this. That's just an old game stock, a pigeon I believe, I had knocking about, and we'll save that for later on. Now we're on to the meat of the matter. Big pot of water, sous vide wand, and then a couple of bags to seal it up in. Now there's really a couple of methods you can try if you don't have a vacuum sealer. One is the water immersion method, which I'm showing here, where you basically just use the weight of the water to push all the air out of the bag and seal it. It won't give you a perfect vacuum seal, but it is generally pretty good. Secondly, and a little less hygienic, is stick a straw in the bag and soak out all the air you can. Again, not a perfect seal, but it does work. Now I want to talk about flavours. As you can see, it's a good, rich, well-hung cut of meat. We want to add in as many earthy flavours as we can, so sliced turmeric, sliced garlic all the way around. As you can see from the vacuum pushing in, all the sliced flavours will be pushed deep into the flesh of the meat. Now grab your sous vide wand, clip it onto the side of the pot and set it to 57.5 degrees centigrade for 2 hours 45 minutes. I guess at this stage, talk amongst yourselves. Once it's come up to temperature, you'll find the wand beeping at you. Hold down the set button and then pop your vacuum sealed bags in. At that stage, just leave it. Quick word on sous vide wands while I chop some shallots for the béarnaise. That one set me back £50, and for the amount of tenderness and flavour you get out of the meat, and the storage, they pay for themselves. Shallots go into a pan that won't react to the apple cider vinegar we're using, a handful of tarragon, and then reduce that by about a half. Pop it into the blender, and then we're looking at just about time to bring our homemade butter into play. Once the butter is nice and foamy, you'll have it reduce out the milk solids which will sit in the bottom of it. Pass your blended tarragon vinegar mix through a sieve, use a back of a spoon to push it down, get as much goodness out of there as possible, And then you're ready to sieve out the butter and make sure those solids don't fall you down. Pop a decent quality Pyrex bowl onto a pan full of boiling water and you have a makeshift bain-marie, and then throw in your egg yolks along with the vinegar mix. Some of you might be thinking at this point this is not a classic béarnaise by any manner of means, and you're right, it's not. But it's one I've been making in various ways I've been experimenting with over the years, and if there's one thing that I would say to everybody, experiment, play about with things. It's fun. There's occasional disasters, but for the most part, you learn something. I always do. While I carry on with the endless whisking, I have to apologise for the camera toggle still being in shot. I didn't have enough eggs to reshoot it. Sorry guys. Once your egg and vinegar mix is thickened up enough to hang on the back of a spoon, take it off the heat and then pour in your clarified butter as slowly as humanly possible. If you ever made an aioli or a mayonnaise from scratch, this is pretty much the sort of speed you're looking at. Now, because apparently nowhere in Scotland actually sells Jerusalem artichokes, we've got a replacement of pumpkin and celeriac. This is all fairly self-explanatory at this stage, guys, but what I will say is the combination of za'atar, olive oil and celeriac is wonderful in a barbecue, so give it a go. Brush the rounds with a nice mix of olive oil and za'atar, and then pop them into the oven at 180 for about an hour. And now, we're going to go back to that wonderful buttermilk stock mix that you thought I'd forgotten about. Bring your buttermilk and stock up to the boil, and then add in polenta slowly until you get to a consistency that won't stick to the side of the saucepan. Pop between 2 sheets of parchment and roll out, then into the same oven until crispy and golden. At this point, give your pumpkin celeriac a good griddle in a hot pan, and then take it out, leave it stay warm somewhere. And move on to doing exactly the same with your Seldang, or beef if you're using beef. At this stage, and this is absolutely the most important part of the process, make sure you rest it. Put it on a chopping board, cover it with some tin foil, add tea towel over the top. Give it at least 5 minutes before you slice and serve. And now for the plating up. Since this is a bit of a showy off meal, I've gone for as many visual aspects as I can. We've got the round and then the cross ties of the polenta crisps. Then our neatly sliced Seldang. Followed by the ludicrous yellow of the béarnaise covering right across, a handful of pea shoots. Hope you've enjoyed this, folks, and please feel free to click on the like and subscribe buttons coming up shortly. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.